Hi, this is Marie Slim, teacher librarian for the Fullerton Joint Union High School District. And I wanted to explore with James Kirkpatrick and other science teachers the possibility of adding a research class to the science curriculum. What I did is made a live binder, and I will give you the link. And the model classes are just ones that I kind of looked at. A lot of the ones happen to be in New York, so I'm going to click on one of the gray subtabs. I just did it like this. At the University of Albany, it appears they've gotten some kind of model in a high school program modeled on someone who has since passed away. And so that might be a good good people to talk to in terms of creating such a course. At Carmel High School, it appears that they have such a research course, and yes, students can obtain college credits from the University of New York at Albany, and so this is one piece of the puzzle. There's a PowerPoint here at the White Plains Public Schools that talks about science research in the high school, and the PowerPoint's pretty interesting if you could take a look at that. And at White Plains High School, they have their course catalog online, and they talk about the Authentic Science Research Program. And Dr. Margaret Hawthorne Doty appears to be a pretty good contact that you could perhaps find a text through. And so this is pretty much the description of their program that they have there at White Plains High School. In terms of possible texts, I've asked other librarians. I haven't heard much in terms of using a style guide as a text. That would make for rather dry teaching and learning. I'm sure some teachers could probably pep it up a lot. But what we're using at Troy right now is MLA. That's what the English teachers use and what the students have learned in terms of research and citation and note-taking. So most of them use Modern Languages Association style. I've worked with other science teachers at different schools in Fullerton Joint Union, and they have used APA. And then some of the science teachers at Troy use Chicago or Turabian. So I'm going to go over here to the research standards. These are actually the library research standards for the state of California. They're fully compliant with Common Core standards. And pretty much these are some of the objectives that students could use, that you could use to create the research class. So using a variety of print, using bibliographies, looking at bibliographies, doing pre-search, all of these things could be helpful pieces of the pie in terms of doing research. APA is what I have used before with students. I have a copy of the 5th edition. They're now on the 6th edition, and that was in 2009. It's the most economical in terms of a style guide, and I've seen it used for science before. In terms of AMA, the American Medical Association, their manual of style is a little bit more expensive, $40 hardcover, or the online book bundle for $100, I guess, and I'm sure you could probably get a cheaper rate from them buying in bulk. The Manuals of Scientific Style is just a Google book. It's ebook. I'm going to click on the link, but the ebook is about 40 bucks, I would say. However, if you look at it and it's a 984-page volume, I'm not sure how that would be kind of daunting if I were a student. The Council of Science Editors also has their style guide. Only 680 pages, looks like a bargain. The list price is $59.95. It says CASE member price is $48, and I'm not sure down below what this is, this $30, so maybe that's for special people. But you could look through that. I'm sure they've had copies at Cal State Fullerton. Going back up here, so again, these are the different style guides that a class could use. Possible text. So I wanted to find a possible text. It's been kind of hard looking. Current Troy research info, what we have right now is 2 databases for students. Gale is the vendor, the compiler of a lot of the information. The students have been using this database for many years now, probably since 2006, 2005. So the graphical interface is pretty good. The password is Fullerton to get in. Now this is the Gale Student Resources in Context. It's not very science heavy. If you click on Proceed, you can get in. You can do a search on anything. I'm just going to put in earthquakes because that's just me. And this is just, it talks about earthquakes, and here's featured content, some, newspapers, some reference books. Some of the reference books that you can see are a little dated. So the Gale Encyclopedia of Science, their primary sources, you have things here. Critical essays is kind of a strange thing, and then magazines. So we have different magazines, audio, video, etc. But in terms of, let's see, academic journals, there's not a lot. There's Science Scope. That's one of the main science journals that are peer-reviewed in this one. And there's only about 6 or 7 science peer-reviewed journals in this database here. So the next database that we have, and you could click here or you could click here where it says Change Resources. But I'll just go through this way. Again, Fullerton is the password. You click on Proceed. And then I forgot to mention, at the Gale Student Resource in Context, if you really want to know the journals that they offer, you would click on Resources here. Under Librarians, you would click on the coverage list. Reference title is kind of like the encyclopedias or the database like volumes, but the coverage list, that's more of the journals and the magazines and the papers. So if you're interested, but Opposing Viewpoints and Gale Student Resources in Context are pretty limited in their science overview. There's a little free thing, Gale Research Support, which kind of talks about how to do research, which is kind of interesting. And so that's that. Potential Troy Research Info. Well, we have the Gale in Context for 2 other sources for just general, and that gives us some things for our English teachers who need literary criticism, and some of our Spanish teachers, and foreign language teachers, and history and math and all different kinds. So that's kind of a general. Opposing Viewpoints is mostly for English and social science. But there's this Gale Science in Context. It has a lot of science, peer-reviewed science journals. Pretty good interface. I've requested a trial so you can try it out. I'm investigating the cost for a Troy site license. It's an annual cost. I'm not sure what that would be, but I would look into it if needed. But pretty much the articles are it's the same way, and here's all the stuff to sell you on it if you wanted to check it out. But so the Gale Science in Context, so there's a lot more scientific content in this database. In terms of Cal State Fullerton, in the past, I've tried to get, for Troy students, off-site access to their databases, but they've been pretty insistent that we shall go to their main reference desk and register as a guest and use the databases on-site. So we cannot use them off-site. We cannot get a username and password and go off-site to use their databases. Everything needs to be done on-site. Los Angeles Public Library, there's 21 off-site databases that are scientific based, and they're available with the Los Angeles Public Library card. And in order to get the card, you need to go physically, I believe, to the main branch to receive that card. So that's in the middle of LA. But anyway, they have some great databases, and if you wanted to explore any of those, I have my Los Angeles Public Library card and pin. UCI libraries, in the past, I've worked with them to get our students borrowing privileges. That's something that the librarian did. I don't know if I could do that anymore. It would be for individual students. I had to write a lot of letters. But in terms of using the databases and the science and technology and medicine databases, these are the ones they offer. and I'm sure you can go on site and use the databases, but sometimes the parking fee in and of itself is a little bit of a you know, barrier for students. So that might be something that could possibly work. And that's pretty much it for my report on a possible research class. Thank you for your time and attention.